We will do so in a minute.
Thank you.
Mathis.
Are we ready to start?
Yes.
Okay.
No caller.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We have a quorum. But can you advise the chair? Oh.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, and we're gonna start, but we gotta take care of some preliminaries first, because we gotta vote on our chair to be a part of this since we have a quorum. Can you take that, council?
Yes.
Lead on that.
Commissioner Johnson, you would obviously a request to participate remotely. You would have to state your reason that you are remote, as well as the city and state you're currently in.
Medical reasons, Richmond, Virginia.
All right. So is there a motion to allow Commissioner Johnson to participate remotely? All right.
Second. I'm sorry, we do roll call.
Okay. Would you like me to do roll call now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So it's been moved and properly second.
I'm sorry, who made the motion and who seconded the motion?
Commissioner Hardeman made the motion. Commissioner Lewis seconded the motion. All right. Now we do roll call. Y'all ready for the question? Commissioner Pitchford?
Aye.
Commissioner Hardeman?
Aye.
Commissioner Jackson?
Aye.
Commissioner Lewis?
Aye.
Commissioner Parker? All right, the ayes have it. Motion has been approved. Commissioner Johnson, you're now allowed to participate remotely.
Thank you. And Commissioner Pittsburgh, if you don't mind, I'll take the gavel back.
Oh, great.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for your attendance and your participation. I'm going to start by, now that we've established a quorum, does anybody have been signed up to speak?
Commissioner Johnson, yes, we have 5 citizens that have signed up to speak. The first one is Lucretia Harris.
All right. Ms. Harris, if you will.
Lucretia Harris. The next citizen is Nathan Silvera. Oh, okay. Go right up to the podium. Mhm. Put the mic up there.
Yeah, my grievance is in 2021. I applied for housing. At that time, I just put an application to the portal. I submitted all the documentation. In 2023, I got an email stating that I needed to do something called Save My Spot. So I tried to log in. It said I had an invalid login. So I called the RRHA phone number for support. They said, I asked them why my login didn't work, because I still have my original login. I didn't change any of my login information, and my login wasn't incorrect. I called the RRHA line for support. They said, what is my name and social security number? I gave them my name and social security number. They stated that they can't find an application. I don't have an application. They don't know anything about it. I said, okay, well, that's strange because I have a Gmail and I know I've checked my application several times, but okay, whatever. I thought maybe in a flood of applications, maybe mine got lost. But at the time I wasn't having a housing issue because, my rent keeps going up. I keep getting apartments and the rent goes up. But anyway, so then a year later, I go to submit a new application. It says on the application through the portal, it says my social security number is currently in use. So I called the RRH line again, and I said, it's saying my social security number is in use. I called a year ago in 2023. It said my login was invalid. Why is my social security number in use when my login is invalid? And I don't have an application on file, as I spoke to someone last year, and that's what they said. They said, okay, use this new login. They found my application and said, use this new login. Turn it off. They said, use this new login, use your Gmail and summer 2022. I said, okay. I used the new login, and on the new login, it said, I went on my old application and it said that I've been contacted and there was no response. And I said, excuse me, I spoke to someone, they said, I called the RRHA support line again. And they said, and at that time they said, oh, well, you know, what's the problem with your application? Well, I screenshotted some of the things at that time, and my application has been changed on the portal by someone that works at RRHA. And I have proof of it on screenshots. I have proof of my initial login information. It said that my original application was filed in 2023, and that I was contacted 10 times in the last 2 months. And I was never contacted. My application was not in 2023, it was in 2021. And my grievances is that, and I can issue the screenshots if you'd like, and some of it's still on there, some of it's still in the portal. That they were trying to switch things. I don't know who, I can't say, for instance, which person that works for RRHA did this, but it says on the portal now that my initial application was in 2023, but the dates they tried to contact me was in 2021. So how was my initial application in 2023, what it says right now, when they tried to contact me in 2021 and 2022? So it makes no sense. So my grievance is only that someone has went on the RHA application portal and changed the information. I don't know what the motive is. I don't know if it's financial, if maybe someone knows me from high school. I don't know what it is, but I know for sure that someone is changing applications on the RRHA portal. I have screenshots of everything I just said, and my grievance is that I'm a single parent of 2 children. I've been through every program in Richmond. I've been through Hilliard House. I've been through Catholic Charity Program, but I still keep coming to the same issue of not being able to afford to live in Richmond. Both my kids go to Richmond Public Schools. Well, he doesn't yet, but he's in Shimarado. So why was my application skipped over? Why was my information changed? And that's the only thing that I'd like to bring up and have someone look into. And I also can submit the screenshots of the original application date. The dates they said they contacted me are not consistent. And if you can somehow look in the computer record, you can see that it's been changed over the last 2 months. My application has been changed not only in the last 2 months, but in the time that they said my login was invalid. And if my login was invalid, there's no way I could have went onto the portal and changed it, because my login was just issued again 3 weeks ago. And that's all I have to say. I appreciate you guys' time. And I don't know where this goes.
Look,
I don't want to make loud noise now.
we apologize for the inconvenience, but will you sit over to the side and talk to Mr. Naismith about this, so you can get some kind of answers before you leave? Are you hearing me?
Yes, Commissioner, we heard you.
Okay. Who's next?
Okay, the next person is Keisha Cummings.
Okay. Hey, Ms. Cummings. Hello, Ms. Cummings.
Okay, we have Shaquille Warden.
Hello.
Hello, Ms. Warden.
Hi.
How can we help you today?
Yeah, the reason why I'm attending this meeting is because I did have someone reach out to me for racial redevelopment for the housing choice program, and this is like my second time being rejected for my application process. I recently got the emails over the weekend because due to my email is just having issues with it. And I was trying to update my information that she was asking for. And she sent me a rejection letter saying that I failed to send my documents in time so to move forward with the process. So I was trying to appeal it so I can talk to somebody, but instead of an email, a phone call would have been great too, along with an email, so I can get a better understanding of things. And the person that did reach out to me, I explained that to her as well. And I've been an applicant for Richmond redevelopment since 2015, so I've been on the waiting list for this housing program quite a while, and just recently got back on it. I want to say in probably 2020 or maybe 22. And
Okay.
and I'm definitely trying to find somewhere better to stay in a bigger place, because the area I'm in now is just not it right now.
Well, there's a young man that was in front of you. Will you sit over there with him so Mr. Naismith can direct you to the right person to talk to try to get that get some more information and understanding for you, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Mr. Chairman, if I may. Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes. Yes.
You do have that person provide their phone number and name. I'm going to have Miss Kenyatta Green reach out to her.
Not in public. There's contact information that Priscilla has for people who signed up.
You'll just have that? Okay. And what's her name again? I'm sorry.
Miss Warden.
Okay. We have that then. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The next citizen is Omar Kenyatta.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr.
My name is Omar Kenyatta, and I reside in the city of Richmond, in Councilman District. I'd like to
Good afternoon, sir, and welcome.
Again, let me start. The name is Omar Kenyatta. I reside in the Cosmetic District. First of all, let me acknowledge Ms. Webb and her magic and how she moved to relieve the nervousness of the baby. That shows you the type of magic. Obviously, I understand you are the chair. So in addition to leadership support, okay, I assume you were, okay. But the fact of the matter is, I just saw the magic in terms of that nurturing aspect. And because as you put him in his father's arm, he was looking for you. Let me start off by saying, which was a good start in terms of that observation, because I'm here really to speak to children or for children who obviously cannot speak for themselves. First of all, I am prior residence public housing, having lived in Brooklyn Court until I started college at VCU, Virginia Union. I also have lived periodically in Creighton Court as well as Gilpin Court in my early years. So I'm not, let's say I'm connected to what we used to call the projects. I'm here primarily as a reaction to media hype around this mass eviction possibilities. And it kept coming up. So I thought I'd take a walk through and do some altruistic observation to see what could actually be going on in these developments that would individuals who live in housing would actually demonstrate inability, either financial or otherwise, that they could not pay their rent. So I did some walk-arounds, Gilpin Court, Fairfield Court, Creighton Court, Mosby Court, just to interact, not really interact, just altruistic observation. to see what the faces look like. Because the faces tell you a clear indication as what's going on with the individuals. But my last visit last week to Gillum Court to visit a friend who obviously coordinated community gardens there. And while I was there, children began to come and have conversations. And an incident had occurred just about a block ago. And there was a gentleman interacting. I was making the observation, but they were talking about violence. They were talking about killing, about guns. But what got me was the general attitude, like that wasn't a big thing. It was not a big thing to talk about. We're talking about 9, 10-year-olds, girls in particular. It was girls. It was actually talking about violence and death as though it was like on TV. But we were talking about in terms of children experiencing this type of trauma. So really, I came here initially to talk about trauma, to talk about social psychodynamics in regards to the impoverished community, so forth and so on, as we are taught in schools. The latest buzzword is disparities. We use all these words to not get to the root issue. And the root issue is poverty. The root issue, let me reframe that. The root issue is lack of human resources. In other words, living in environments where the ecosystem doesn't exist. What I mean by that? Access to continuous education, training, arts and culture, everything else associated with within a block away or 3 blocks away as it relates to given court. It's a whole nother world. Whole nother world. So I moved to speak to you who are decision makers, policy makers, and obviously some of the things that I'm talking about, you probably already know and probably done some study about ways and means to address them. But I'm here as a citizen to kind of reinforce that around the Richmond Housing Authority has to see itself, you may already do, as a convener for a different type of conversation that should be taking place not only in Richmond, also in Henrico, Chesterfield, in other words, the entire Central Virginia area. I say that because when you look at the poverty rate, you put all those localities together, we're talking about 25 to 30% poverty rate, predominantly among the African American community. I want to just think about something as I read the impact of poverty as it relates to children in terms of what it is that they are actually going through. Some of these obviously you may already be aware of. One second, please. Try to get my situation together here. If you'll bear with me 1 second. Okay. This. Okay. 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 Please, thank you for your patience. One of the things that we are talking when we talk about children poverty, we are talking about limited access to education and resources, poor health and malnutrition, increased risk of abuse and neglect, emotional and psychological distress, limited access to health care, higher risk of teen pregnancy, increased risk of involvement in criminal activity, limited access to technology and internet, social isolation and stigma, reduced opportunities for extracurricular activities and enrichment. Obviously, you would not be here if you didn't already know that these sort of things exist. But my presence here today is to request that the Richmond Housing Authority commissioners become the voice and advocacy as the new war on poverty. 60 years ago, Lyndon Baines Johnson was instrumental in getting legislature passed in Congress declaring a war on poverty. I am here beseeching you to let's reinvent that with a community council on the war against poverty. You have the convening power to bring both the public and the private sector together and do a real assessment. Futuristically, one thing about children, you can always look into the future. And I'm here to request that in your deliberations about whether it relates to public housing or the future, that you see yourselves as that convener, bringing individuals together to start this conversation now, because I'm of the opinion of raising the question, how long can we go? How long can we go, particularly in light of the fact that the balanced orientation, unfortunately, that has come rooted in this community? I walk downtown in the financial district, and it comes to my mind around frustration. So just suppose we witness and said, being grounded in one of these public houses, that all of a sudden, out of frustration, out of hopelessness, out of despair, that we have someone, because of our inability to solve this problem, with 4 universities in the city, community colleges, private sector corporations, other civic societies that control wealth and human resources, that we came to solve this problem. That one individual, one day, we had this big incident in a main street where all of a sudden someone said, and those of us understand what it is to feel hopeless. And all of a sudden we got a big issue with someone, not a school shooting, but a downtown, I'm ready to die type mentality. Because I can tell you it's evolving. There is hopelessness. And I don't think you understand that. There is not enough police around when particular male don't see no way out. Don't see no way out. And we have designed our cities on planning to say that individuals will internalize that and give social legitimacy to that. There's no such thing as that. And in conclusion, we have the debate around abortion, but the worst abortion is social abortion. When you create policies that young children die while living, death while living. So we got, I'm not want to get political about the abortion issue, but you got the womb and you got environments. Both lead to the same reality: abortion, early death, a sensation of death. The worst thing is see children dying within because of hopelessness. And the final analysis is that we're going to this argument about losing democracy. We got segments of community don't even know what that is. Why? Because we don't share democracy. Some people got more democracy than others. We don't share equality opportunities. Some people got more opportunities than others. And we expect young people to internalize that and remain in human form. No, they can't remain in human form. What we are creating are Frankensteins. That's what we are creating, Frankenstein. We know the story of Frankenstein. They killed everyone.
Mr. Kenyatta,
And was not afraid to kill himself. Conclusion, thank you very much for the moment to have this conversation.
Mr. Kenyatta. Mr. Kenyatta? Mr. Kenyatta?
Yeah.
You back at the mic?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead,
Yes,
sir.
look. And you know you and I have talked,
Yes, sir.
okay? We talk on a regular basis. You are at the housing authority. Okay? One of the things that we need more than anything else is participation. Our hands are full. We have total compassion for trying to address the issues. We cannot address all the issues alone. This is a team sport. And since the dawn of time, there have been poor people. Now, we have just initiated a new committee called the Community Outreach Committee. So before you leave, make sure you get the number of this young lady who's very positive, Diane. She's very, very committed to it. She lives in public housing. She understands it. This is the conduit where we might can have the additional information. Because right now, we are dealing with a tremendous amount of poverty, of drugs, guns, all of this. This is the community. Now you are standing at the housing authority, and we are doing everything we can and then some. You and I've talked, and you've come to the right place to say, yes, this is an issue, but we are all aware of it, very much so. But we are also limited in what we can do and how we can do it and how fast and how far we can go. Basically, our jurisdiction stops at the Richmond city limits edge. Where you sitting at, where you in Gilpin Court, there's a redevelopment plan right now in the process to change that community, which is going to change some people and disrupt the way they go. But before you leave, please get in contact with our outreach commissioner and get that number, and let's see how we can bring folk to the table to help address some of the concerns. Another commissioner was just giving us a briefing of the different medical and health issues that face our community, and he's on that board, or he works for him, and he's very compassionate about the resources that have come into the community. So there's a lot going on within at the limits of what we can do. And you know, you can pick up the phone and call me anytime. But we are working on these types of things. We do have constraints and limitations of how much we can do, and we need the help and collaboration of all the interested entities in this community. And you are doing right. I know how you burn. So keep it up. And your words are not falling on deaf ears. You just need to know who's listening. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you again, Mr. Jones. I appreciate your response. Again, just in closing, I'm just requesting utilization of your convening power. I understand what Mr. Johnson said. It's just not the housing authority. Thank you for indulgence.
Who's next, Ms. Jackson?
That completes the citizen comment period.
Did any of the others show up?
Is Lucretia Harris online? Keisha Cummings, are you online? And that's it, Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you so much. And want to have the chair update. Commissioners, we are here this evening because we did not have a quorum in our last meeting. And I think it would behoove all of us to take a stronger attitude or a better attitude as far as getting to these meetings and on time. You know, it's something to get dressed up and get dressed and come down there and get a parking space and get to the meeting, and we don't have enough people to convene a meeting. I would like to see us take a stronger attitude and commitment to getting here. Now, I know we're not making a whole lot of money, but we do have a little stipend, and that is to incentivize at least getting to the board meeting. I know things come up. I'm a witness. You know, that things happen, and I understand that. But when staff works all day, and then they prepare for a meeting in the evenings, and we don't have enough commissioners to run the meeting, I think we need to be a little bit more conscious and respectful of their time I like to get to the meeting, get it started, get it over with. You know, so I can get home and get my big piece of chicken. So I wish you'd take that into consideration in the way that I'm presenting it to us, that we take a conscious effort to try to get to the meeting, get it on time, start on time, and let's go. Okay? And that's all I've got for right now. I think the next thing we have is we want to approve do we have minutes to be approved? Ms. Jackson?
Commissioner,
Carol Carter,
Yes.
just want to let you know, we don't have minutes to be approved this evening. We're
Okay,
gonna go
thank
right
you.
into the resolutions.
All right, let's go into resolution. Somebody, sorry, does somebody have to read that?
Mr. Chair, I'm gonna have to step out
Yeah.
because the first resolution deals with Harold Chambliss. And Ms. Webb is going to handle the first resolution.
Thank you.
I'm gonna turn it over to, this is a procurement resolution. And so Ms. Orsini will give a brief overview of that resolution for the board.
Thank you.
Good evening, commissioners and staff. First resolution that we have to present to you tonight from procurement is approval to execute contracts with Fox Rothschild LLP, McGuire Woods LLP, and Harold Chambliss LLP for legal services. A solicitation was done and we received three proposals.
you speaking to the mic, please?
You can't hear me? I'm sorry. Do I need to start over? No. Okay. The proposals came in on March 21st, 2024, and were reviewed by staff. And we are asking for two contracts to be awarded, one to Fox Rothschild LLP and the other to McGuire Woods LLP, along with Harold and Chambliss, in the amount of $2.4 million for both firms for duration of the initial 2-year contract and 1-year renewal option.
Any questions?
Are there,
As this was as discussed during the finance committee meeting.
any
Okay,
questions?
and the recommendation?
Move for adoption.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions? Call the roll, Ms. Webb.
All right, will do. So I'm just gonna go by the list. I'll start with you, Mr. Chair. What is your vote?
Aye. Aye.
Madam Vice Chair?
Aye.
Commissioner Hardman?
Aye.
Commissioner Jackson?
Aye.
Commissioner Lewis?
Aye.
Commissioner Parker?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Resolution for legal services has been passed and approved. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
we'll move on to number 2, which is also a procurement contract.
Good evening again. This resolution is to the approval to execute the contract with the Ground Guys of West End for grass and grounds maintenance services. We did do this solicitation a couple of months ago, but our current contract was not expiring until the end of June. And so we decided to go ahead and award this contract and get approval of it through the board. The contract is, again, through the Grounds Guys of West End, who will be doing the Gilpin Court, Creighton Court, and Fairfield Court properties. The total contract amount for the whole year will be $234,240.22. The vendor has dedicated 100% participation in section 3.
Outstanding. Any questions?
Move adoption of the
I'll entertain
resolution,
the
Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Is there a second?
Yes.
Yes, there was a second.
Yes, it's been moved by Commissioner Hardeman, second by Commissioner Jackson to approve the resolution for grass and ground maintenance services.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second. All in favor, say aye.
Oh, no, we have to do roll call because you're remote. You're just being
I'm
remote.
sorry.
That's okay. Mr. Carter?
All right, roll call. Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Ms. Pitchford,
Aye.
Mr. Hardeman,
Aye.
Mr. Jackson,
Aye.
Mr. Lewis,
Aye.
Mr. Parker.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Resolution's passed.
Thank you, everyone. I think that concludes what we have to do, but we do have a closed session.
No, we have three more
3
resolutions.
more resolutions.
Oh, what am I looking at?
We have 4 more.
All these still resolution. Okay, let's take the next one, please. Oh, yeah, that's right. Here it is.
All right. We have resolution number 3. The resolution approving the low-income public housing flat rent for year 2024. Are there any questions on this motion, on this resolution? Excuse me.
I had a question on that one. I just didn't know, are we voting on a dollar amount or what? It just said flat rent. I mean, are we just voting on the language, just to say flat rent is being coming back?
In the resolution.
There's the schedule.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Yes. Yes.
on this particular topic, Mr. Chairman, if you would allow Ms. Deanna Green to give some explanation about the subject of flat rents, please.
Thank you, Mr. Nesmith. Good evening, commissioners and staff. Just a little information about the flat rents. At initial occupancy and during every annual reexamination, HUD offers a choice of rent for our families that are currently residing in public housing. And so the options include either income-based rent, where your rent is calculated based on 30% of your income, or a flat rent calculation. The flat rent option is generally based on 80 to 100% of the published fair market rents for the jurisdiction, as is determined by HUD. With the flat rent, the tenant's rent remains fixed and it does not vary based on their income. So it's just flat rent. It's not considering their income at all. So HUD instructs all housing authorities to create a flat rent schedule annually with approval from CEO and the Board of Commissioners. The schedule that you see before you today was created for 2024. However, and it was executed by our CEO. However, it must be ratified by the Board of Commissioners, as was stated in our CMI review that we just had. So this is the reason we have the proposed resolution before you today. But please note, by the end of the year, we will do another proposal and resolution for the 2025 flat rents before they go into effect for January 2025.
Chairman, may I ask?
Yes.
And my last question is on the flat rent. Is this for the LHP and the housing choice voucher, or this is just one?
Just for public housing. The Housing Choice Voucher Program does not use flat rents. They use payments. So it's just for public housing.
Okay, I just wanted some clarity. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any more questions?
Are there any more questions?
Second.
All right, call for the question.
All right. Roll call. Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Ms. Pitchford,
Aye.
Mr. Hardeman,
Aye.
Mr. Jackson,
Aye.
Mr. Lewis,
Aye.
Mr. Parker.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Resolution's approved.
Thank you, everyone. And we have one more.
No, we have three more, Mr. Chair.
Look, y'all weighing me out with this.
All right.
All right. Let's get the next resolution.
The fourth resolution involves adopting revisions to RRHA's bylaws. The floor is open for any questions among commissioners.
Anyone need a brief summary or overview, or have you already reviewed it?
I would like to, Chair, may I ask our council to have a short overview of the bylaws?
Of the changes of the bylaws, right?
Yes, just the changes.
Is that okay?
Okay. That's fine.
Thank you,
Try
Ms.
to be,
Webb.
I'll try to be quick.
All right.
So if you all can see, there are track changes in the bylaws. So they're highlighted at least, I don't know what color you may have, but it should be colored and underlined. So one of the changes we made was requiring training for new commissioners, which would be a HUD training as well as an RRHA specific training. And we titled it RRHA New Commissioner Orientation, and it has to be done within 120 days. Also, we did add language that there will be annual training, RRHA specific, that the chair would choose the topic. Obviously, you guys can discuss that or put input into the topic, but the chair will ultimately make that decision. Additional changes, also that change was in Article 1, Section 4 under Board of Commissioners. A change was in Article 1, Section 5, the duties. It just kind of spelled out a little more with specificity the day-to-day operations, and that the Board of Commissioners has hired an executive director, also known as the CEO, to make the determinations, and that the board will adopt policies and resolutions and determine policy guidelines and oversight. Also, that the board will conduct an annual evaluation of the CEO. If you go to page 2, Article 2, Section 3, the change in that section is that the chair will be the sole spokesperson over the board unless he essentially directs someone else of the Board of Commissioners to do so, and that the chair will serve as liaison with the city of Richmond. Any questions thus far? All right. If we go to page 3, Article 2, Section 11, where it says standing committees. So the changes made is that all of the standing committees shall hold a minimum of 4 meetings per calendar year. However, if the committee deems necessary, they can hold more than 4 per the calendar year. Also, that the committee chair may make a determination to cancel the meetings at least 1 day prior to the scheduled meeting date. And that the chair of the committee or their designee shall present a written report, which shall be included in the Board of Commissioners meeting minutes. And that is obviously for the Board of Commissioner meetings. Additionally, language has been added that the standing committee shall only be composed of commissioners. However, the chair of the board can essentially appoint any other persons if it deems that that is essentially based on the committee needs. So if it's necessary, then additional people outside of commissioners can be appointed to your committees. Additionally, in section 11.5 for other committees, as you all know, only a few committees are named in the bylaws. Other committees shall have meetings as they deem necessary. It will only be composed of commissioners, and kind of the same as section 11 paragraph. The board chair can essentially appoint any other persons that's based on the committee needs. And then also there's language where the committee shall be dissolved upon completion of its main purpose or goal for which it was created. Any questions thus far? That the committee will be dissolved upon the completion of its purpose. So essentially, if a committee was created for a specific purpose, so say for example, if property management wasn't a standing committee, if the property management committee was only elected to review flat rents or payment standards of housing choice vouchers, upon the approval of the board, that committee is no longer necessary. So then it would no longer meet and it will be inactive. That's not your committee because your committee is within the bylaws, but that was the best example I can come up with right off the top of my head. Yeah. But that's if their main reason that the chair has appointed a committee for that particular purpose, then it will be dissolved after that. Right, so for special committees that were created, yes. It's under other committees. So essentially, other committees are those committees that are not stated specifically in the bylaws. Yes.
Ms. Pitchford, an example also, it's a task force that's assembled just to deal specifically with an issue that might come up. And the purpose of the task force, so the committee, could be resolved in a year, maybe 5 years. But once, as Ms. Webb has indicated, the purpose of why the committee is meeting, why they convened has been, the objective has been accomplished. Hopefully, the committee would be dissolved at that time.
Could those special things be, could they be, like, say if it snowed and you had to have something, could they be, on remote or the bylaws don't cover that?
The bylaws will cover it for any committee and board, but it would have to follow Virginia law regarding remote participation in all virtual meetings, which we'll get to in this.
Okay.
Any questions thus far? All right, if you follow me to page 5, Article 4, Section 2, all this states is that cancellation of the board would be done at least 3 days prior to the scheduled meeting, and that the board shall select one of its monthly meetings to complete training on an annual basis. And then obviously notice of the meeting or cancellation is in there. Any questions? Okay. And if you go to page 7, this is where we get into the all virtual portion of the bylaw. So section 11 was there, but it was added of telephonic meetings because as the law states that no meeting basically shall be conducted or held through only telephone communications. And then section 12 is the all virtual meetings, which we all have been used to. However, in accordance with FOIA, the Freedom of Information Act under Virginia law, you can only have all virtual meetings if you have a policy indicating that you will. And in these revisions, an all virtual meeting will only be held and conducted for inclement weather and special call meetings. But keep in mind, the law requires that you only do a maximum of 2 or 25% of the meetings you hold per calendar year. And so as indicated here, it will be held only for 2 meetings is what the determination was. And also, as Virginia law requires, it cannot be consecutively done with another virtual meeting. So you cannot have back-to-back virtual meetings. Any questions thus far? I can't say thus far. I think that's it. That's it. And also just to point out, nothing regarding remote participation has changed. So that language is still the same.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Chairman?
Yes.
I have a question. Ms. Webb, I don't see that in section 11 that they have the section 3 MBE committee as a part of here. Is there any reason why?
Because section 3, the minority in section 3 committee was only created.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was only recently created. Yes, sir.
Right.
So it's still under other committees, but it will be determined if, I guess, the main purpose has been met or if it's going to continue. And no one has said that the main purpose has not been met yet. So those are all the revisions that I went over. If anyone thinks I missed anything, please let me know. Thank you.
Move approval of resolution 4. Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Hardiman and seconded by Commissioner Lewis to approve Resolution 4, revision of the bylaws. I'll let Mr. Carter do the roll call.
Right? Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Ms. Pitchford?
Aye.
Mr. Hardiman?
Aye.
Jackson?
Aye.
Mr. Lewis?
Aye.
And Mr. Parker?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Resolution is passed. All right, let's go on to resolution 5. This resolution is for authorizing Richmond Redevelopment and Housing Authority's Chief Executive Officer or his designee to execute and deliver the ground lease and any and all documents required to consummate the transactions contemplated in ground lease for Phase B of the Creighton Court redevelopment. Ms. Garcia will speak to it.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. If it's okay, I'll speak to resolutions 5 and 6 at the same time as they both relate to Creighton. We received news last week that we were included in the bond inducement for the 4% low-income housing tax credit program for Virginia Housing for Phase B. So to make sure we meet a July-August closing deadline, we need to start the process for HUD review of our legal documents. Part of those legal documents is the board authorizing our CEO to sign our ground lease and the MDA that we need, our amendment to the MDA that we need for Creighton Court. So resolution number 5 is asking for the board to authorize Mr. Nesmith to sign our ground lease. This will be a cash flow loan to the project in the amount of $850,000. And the next resolution is authorizing Mr. Nesmith to sign MDA amendment number 6, which authorizes the community builders to do the vertical construction for Phase B, which will be 72 100% affordable units, of which 18 will be replacement housing units for the Creighton Court families and other families living in our public housing communities. Happy to answer.
Are there any questions?
Anyone have an objection to moving these two in a block since they are the two actions on the same item? I would move the adoption of resolution number 5 and number 6 in a block.
Second. It's been moved and properly second. All in, roll call, please, Ms. Webb.
All right. Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Ms. Pittsford,
Aye.
Mr. Hardeman,
Aye.
Mr. Jackson,
Aye.
Mr. Lewis,
Aye.
Mr. Parker. Aye. The ayes have it for resolution 5 and 6. They're both passed. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I just, if I could recognize Mr. George Martin, he's going to take us into closed session.
Okay.
He's online. Mr. Martin, you have the floor.
Actually, I think somebody else has the motion.
Yes, we're working through it right now.
I make the motion that we, I'm sorry.
Ms. Pittsford, would you do the motion, please? The reading of the motion.
This is going into a closed meeting of the Richmond Redevelopment and Housing Authority. I move that we go into closed meeting to consult with legal counsel regarding legal matters regarding the provision of legal advice, specifically matters relating to the lease enforcement as permitted by section 2.2-371 parentheses A parentheses 8 of the Virginia Freedom of Act. And we also will be, I will move that we go into closed meeting to discuss the performance and salary of the RRHA employees as permitted by section 2.2-3711 parentheses A parentheses 1 of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act.
Mr. Hardeman, second. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
We'll do roll call.
Interesting.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Ms. Pittsford? Ms. Pittsford?
Aye.
Mr. Hardeman?
Aye.
Mr. Jackson? Aye. Mr. Lewis? Aye. Mr. Parker? Parker? Step out. Okay. All right. Well, the ayes have it. We're in close. Thank you.
This conference is no longer being recorded.
So how do we get back?
Mr. Hardeman,
For those online, you will have to exit if you are not a part of this closed session.
And then how do we come back?
And the